So good afternoon guys, welcome to this live session. It's been a long time since I took the last live session on this platform, Facebook. So today in this live session, we are going to talk about the most important current affairs for Indian polity and governance from January 2018 to October or mid of November 2018. So we have seen a lot of judgments, we have seen a lot of pronouncements from the Supreme Court. Aadhaar judgment has come in, and then Sabarimala judgment, then euthanasia judgment we saw before, and then section 377 judgment has also come in. So these issues, how are they to be studied from the UPSC point of view? How are they to be interlinked? How are the Supreme Court judgments, they fit into the governance, the paradigm, the larger canvas called governance. Okay, so this is the topic that we are going to deal with in next half an hour or so. So first of all, we've seen so many judgments. So judgments which are important from the women, from the gender development point of view, gender justice point of view. Sabarimala judgment is there. Then triple talaq judgment that came in the month of August 2017. उसको भी इसके साथ जो है interlink करके पढ़ना होगा, right? तो role of judiciary in the betterment or in gender justice, betterment of women. एंड डाउरी प्रोहिबिशन एक्ट की जो जजमेंट आई थी अक्टूबर 2011 की, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पहले उसे डाइल्यूट किया एंड देन दोबारा से उस जजमेंट को रिस्टोर किया गया, उस लॉ को रिस्टोर किया गया. और आधार जजमेंट, राइट टू प्रिवेसी जजमेंट के साथ में देखना होगा. आधार जजमेंट इंपॉर्टेंट है सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट्स की बात. इसके अलावा आधार जजमेंट के अलावा अगर हम देखें यूथेनेशिया जजमेंट, फंडामेंटल राइट से जुड़ी एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट जजमेंट. So euthanasia judgment may, as I keep on saying this in the daily news analysis also, that in euthanasia judgment, right to life, right to die is not available otherwise in our country. Right to life is given to the citizens under Article 21 of the Constitution, which does not contain the right to die. Okay, that is why suicide is not permitted permitted in our country. Suicide हमारी country में इसीलिए permitted नहीं है क्योंकि right to life does not contain right to die, but right to die for religious purposes, as other things for religious purposes are permitted, right to die for religious purposes is also permitted. तो ये जो inconsistency है, अगर हम इसका analysis करें सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट का, या जो हम कहते हैं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट कुछ zigzag पैटर्न में आती है, राइट. सिमिलरली सेक्शन 377 आर्टिकल 15 prohibition of discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. तो इसमें भी सेम चीज we come across the same pattern. 2014 में जिन आधारों पे उस जजमेंट को होमोसेक्सुअलिटी को बैन किया गया था, सेक्शन 377 को अपहोल्ड किया गया था, उन कारणों को बाद में खुद ही सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो है नेगेट कर रहा है. तो ये जो जुडिशरी के ऊपर एक इस पे कमेंट्री बनती है, the outcome of a case depends upon the names of judges on your bench, on the bench handling the case. Outcome of a case should not depend upon the judge on the bench. तो जज का क्या नाम है वो मैटर करने लगेगा. जब नाम मैटर नहीं करता, it depends upon the perspective, on the outlook that the judge is going to take on a particular case. तो judicial inconsistency seen through the judgments of the Supreme Court. तो judgments अगर waiver करेंगी, the Supreme Court waivers its stand in a span of 4 or 5 years. This should not be the case ordinarily. तो ये चीज पॉलिटी एंड गवर्नेंस, रोल ऑफ जुडिशरी पे आते हैं. तो जुडिशरी अगर हम देखें, जुडिशरी एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, तो हमने जो इशू देखा, जजेस ने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करी ऑन जनवरी 18. सॉरी गाइस, जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट के 4 सीनियर मोस्ट जजेस जो कि कॉलेजियम का भी पार्ट होते हैं, उन्होंने एक जजमेंट, उन्होंने एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करी जिसमें उन्होंने रोल ऑफ सीजेआई को डिस्कस किया था. रोल ऑफ सीजेआई के ऊपर क्रिटिकली कमेंट किया था कि सीजेआई एज द मास्टर ऑफ द रोस्टर, दैट इशू बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट इन द लाइट ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट इन समथिंग इज अ मिस इन द इंटरनल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ जुडिशरी. पहले जस्टिस जेएस कर्नन का जो इशू हुआ था, दैट सुप्रीम कोर्ट was not able to discipline one of the members of judiciary, केरला हाई कोर्ट के जो जज थे, कर्नाटका हाई कोर्ट, केरला हाई कोर्ट के जो जज थे, जस्टिस जेएस कर्नन. तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव साइड ऑफ जुडिशरी was in limelight, was in controversy because of one of the judges of High Court, back then in 2017, जून 2017 में. लेकिन इस बार जो हमने कंट्रोवर्सी देखी वो हाई कोर्ट में नहीं हुई, वो कंट्रोवर्सी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हुई, राइट. सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजेस को लेके जो कंट्रोवर्सी है, इंटरनल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, हाउ द केसेस आर एलोकेटेड टू जजेस. तो इस पे प्रताप भानु मेहता इस बुक में एक चैप्टर है, तो उसको आप पढ़ सकते हो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के रोल के ऊपर, जिन लोगों के पास में बुक ऑलरेडी है, राइट. देन कमिंग टू दिस अदर इश्यूज इन द जुडिशरी, अगर हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ओवरऑल रोल देखें इन दी विमेन एम्पावरमेंट, दैट इज पॉजिटिव, बट द रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ विमेन इन जुडिशरी, representation of women in judiciary is not as much, right? Only one judge, Justice Indu Malhotra, and that too after a lot of tussle around the name that women should be appointed, after a lot of persuasion by the president and the government side, right? Then other issue comes Uttarakhand High Court and the High Court CJI. The one Uttarakhand High Court CJI was about to be Justice Joseph issue I'm talking about. So in Justice Joseph case, government was adamant that government did not want him to be appointed as the one of the judges on the Supreme Court bench. Why? Because of the reason that the critics of the government, they say that opposition party members, political party members, they say that just because Justice Joseph had given an adverse judgment in regard to the invocation of president rule in the state. तो राष्ट्रपति शासन को लगाया गया था उत्तराखंड में जब कांग्रेस की सरकार होती थी. राष्ट्रपति शासन को खारिज किया था जस्टिस कर्नन के जस्टिस जोसेफ के जो बेंच था उत्तराखंड हाई कोर्ट में. इसी की वजह से ओपोजिशन पार्टी का, विरोधी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का ये कहना था कि जस्टिस जोसेफ को प्रमोट नहीं किया जा रहा. फाइनली जस्टिस जोसेफ का नाम दोबारा से रिकमेंड किया गया कॉलेजियम ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजेस द्वारा. तो इस इश्यू को हम ये देखेंगे, internal administration of judiciary में, when judiciary says that they do not want any kind of intervention from the ministry, from the government side, okay, is judiciary right or wrong? Well, seeing what is going on in RBI, अगर हम देखें कि RBI में क्या चल रहा है, interference, intervention नहीं करेंगे उसे, we will say interference, right? Seeing that kind of interference and seeing the issues like the cases like the non-appointment or the reluctance of the government to appoint Justice Joseph as one of the judges, promoting Justice Joseph as one of the judges to Supreme Court, इसके चलते ये लगता है कि judiciary's take, seeing all this, it seems that judiciary's rationale for repealing NJAC Act, National Judicial Appointments Commission Act, was right, because government at times is seen to be interfering in appointment and transfer of judges. Okay, and if we go further backwards, if we see one of the judges, CJIs of Supreme Court, Justice P. Sathasivam, being appointed as governor immediately after his retirement, disregarding the informal practice of not appointing the judges as the governors. There is nothing wrong in that. There is nothing wrong insofar as the constitution is concerned, but insofar as building the confidence in the mind of citizenry is concerned, that judges should ordinarily not be appointed immediately after their retirement. That is like rewarding the judges for, that seems to citizenry, that seems to common man, that judges are being, one of the judges or judges are being rewarded for whatever judgment they gave while they were the judge. So ये जो practices हुई हैं, keeping these practices in mind, it seems that judiciary's decision to repeal the National Judicial Appointment Commission Act was right. But then what about the deadlock? Memorandum of procedure deadlock is still persisting. Okay, government and the judiciary have not yet arrived at a common plane, have not yet arrived at a consensus as to how to resolve this deadlock and proceed ahead with the appointment of judges in a smooth manner. कि judges की नियुक्ति कैसे करी जाए? अब ऐसे केस में what is the issue here? Issue is going to be like कि midway कोई find out किया जाना चाहिए. Midway lies in the constitutional debates, जिसमें कि Privy Council की बात करी गई थी कि 50 members should be there to advise the president in dealing with, while the president deals with these kind of matters like appointment of Chief Justice of India, appointment of CBI judges, appointment of CBI director, appointment of RBI governor. In these sensitive matters, appointment of UPSC chairman, ऐसे cases में appointment of CAG, allegations are cast on the appointment of CAG, on the appointment of Chief Election Commissioner, Central Election Commissioners, RTI ka Chief Information Commissioner. So there should be no shadow of doubt on the appointment of these members, the members of important organizations. ऐसे केस में प्रिवी काउंसिल का प्रावधान जैसे ब्रिटेन में है that 50 members of proven integrity, जैसे कि men of integrity, men of eminence who have lived public life, who have done a lot of work in the public life by serving the country, and who in their case the record is quite impeccable, unquestionable record they are having of serving in the administration. तो ऐसे लोगों को 50 रिटायर्ड लोगों को लगा के प्रेसिडेंट को एडवाइस किया जाए. गवर्नमेंट जो भी एडवाइस देगी प्रेसिडेंट को फॉर अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ द सीबीआई डायरेक्टर और फॉर अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ आरबीआई गवर्नर, वो रिकमेंडेशन को स्टैंप लगेगी इस 50 मेंबर्स प्रिवी काउंसिल की ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मेजॉरिटी. तो ये डेडलॉक को रिजॉल्व करने का इंस्टीट्यूशनल तरीका है. अदरवाइज इंडिविजुअली हम एलिगेशंस कास्ट करते रहेंगे ऑन द इंपॉर्टेंट मेंबर्स एंड दिस विल डू अनड्यू डैमेज टू the institution and the reputation of the individual as well. Now coming to the topics one by one, ये इस वे में हमें एनालाइज करना है कि कैसे पिछले इश्यूज को हमें इंटरलिंक करते हुए आगे बढ़ना है. तो क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम में जो रिफॉर्म्स करे गए, नेशनल रजिस्टर ऑफ सिटीजन्स के चलते, नेशनल रजिस्टर ऑफ सिटीजन्स राइट, नेशनल रजिस्टर ऑफ सिटीजन्स के चलते जो भी चीजें न्यूज में आई, सिटीजनशिप बिल है, आर्टिकल्स 5 to 11. For prelims, articles 5 to 11 they become important in the light of the fact that a lot was happening in the northeastern states and the Supreme Court also with regard to National Register for Citizens. Then coming to the other issues, Kaveri water dispute. In the light of this Kaveri water dispute, Interstate Water Disputes Act, Article 262, Article 263 also becomes important, right? Article 262 and 263, Interstate Water Disputes Act 1956. The institutional mechanism to deal with the water disputes. Do you think that we need to amend the Interstate Water Disputes Act, or we need to have a permanent secretariat for dealing with water disputes? Then coming to this witness protection in India, what the government has done insofar as witness protection is concerned. Witness protection से मतलब ये है जो कोई विसल ब्लो करता है या फिर विटनेस कोई भी है किसी केस में बनना चाहते हैं, जैसे कि सलमान खान दिस केस, ओके, काला हिरन जो केस था, उसमें द ड्राइवर वाज एब्सकॉन्डिंग, ही वाज डिक्लेयर्ड टू बी एन एब्सकॉन्डर, भगौड़ा घोषित कर दिया गया था, जबकि ड्राइवर देयर वाज अ डेंजर टू द ड्राइवर्स लाइफ फ्रॉम द बीइंग ह्यूमन, राइट, देयर वाज अ डेंजर टू द लाइफ ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग फ्रॉम बीइंग ह्यूमन. तो ऐसे केसेस में विटनेस को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए क्या किया जाता है? सिमिलरली अगर हम थोड़ा सीरियसली इस पे बात करें तो व्यापम स्कैम में द पर्सन हु had filed an RTI application on the basis of which the scam came to light, he faced multiple threats, he faced multiple attacks on his life. ऐसे केसेस में witness protection and what this government and the previous governments have done insofar as passage of these transparency oriented laws are concerned. Transparency oriented laws मतलब whistleblowers, protection of whistleblowers act, then timely appointment of central information commissioners and filling up of the vacancies, providing institutional support to central information commission, right? And then Lokpal bill. Why the Lokpal bill? The previous CJI Justice J.S. Keher had said in the month of May 2017, there is nothing in the act, there is nothing that stops the government from appointing the Lokpal. The institution of Lokpal can be institutionalized. But then what is it that is stopping? Okay, so transparency agenda, governance, transparency reform, right? Now coming to this other issue, rationalization of autonomous bodies. Okay, I would say the bodies are autonomous. They are so-called autonomous bodies, but they are not so autonomous. Critically comment. So if these kind of questions are there in polity, RBI, okay, Information Commission, you can talk about these bodies, Central Pollution Control Board. So these autonomous bodies, are they really autonomous? और ये जो acts हैं इनके NGT Act है या फिर this Information RTI Act है, RTI Act. Do you think after the 10 to 12 years of institutionalization or passage of RTI Act, RTI Act is facing some implementational challenges? ये सब क्वेश्चंस इन एरियाज में से बनते हैं. देन ऑफ कोर्स सिंस वी आर लाइक we recently saw 26/11, okay, this thing was happening, terror attacks. How insulated, how protected India is against the terror attacks? Are we prepared, or the security of India is still Ram Bharose, right? So that kind of a thing is there. 26/11, and then we celebrated the Constitution Day also. Those of you who are there in the polity batch, some of these names I can see here. So in issues को important जैसे Constitution Day पे, are we really living up to the ideals of Constitution? Just an essay kind of a thing you can attempt. Or what are the chinks, what are the gaps in the security apparatus of India that you can still identify? Are we prepared? Are we prepared in any better way after 26/11? Critically comment. तो chinks को identify करोगे. We have passed national national security, NSA is there, right? National Security Advisor is there, and then we have got this body was created after 26/11, and then after that, do you think that we need like we've got Central Bureau of Investigation? In the light of the controversy surrounding CBI, do you think that we need a Federal Bureau of Investigation? Okay, so interstate crimes को deal करने के लिए, while the terror attacks are taken care of by the body created after 26/11. But what about the intra-state non-terror crimes? We cannot say that terror crimes and non-terror related crimes are as separate as milk and water, right? So they mingle with each other. They somewhere arrive at a common ground. The money generated from other crimes, be it chit fund scam, okay, these scams are investigated by Enforcement Directorate, and Enforcement Directorate, the inquiry is थ्वाटेड. जो इंक्वायरी करता है एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टोरेट, उसको कहीं ना कहीं रुकावट पैदा करी जाती है. सीबीआई जो इंक्वायरी करती है, राज्य सरकारें उसमें रुकावट पैदा करती हैं, ये एलिगेशन लगा के कि सीबीआई सरकार के इशारों पे काम कर रही है. दैट सीबीआई इज द हैंडमेडन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस काइंड ऑफ एन आर्गुमेंट, द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स दे थ्वाट द इंक्वायरी बाय द सीबीआई. सो डू यू थिंक दैट टू इंस्टिल अ सेंस ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस, टू इंस्टिल अ सेंस ऑफ trust in the minds of the state administration, states of administrations of different states, we need FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, for the entire country? Because crime is interstate, crime is pan-India. Then why should we be having separate state CIDs? Separate state crime investigation departments are there. तो ये CBI को लेके था. Then corruption perception index 2017, ये important होता है. Blue आधार का matter important होता है. And then special category status for states was again in limelight because of the Finance Commission. New Finance Commission has been appointed under the chairmanship of N.K. Singh panel. N.K. Singh, Mr. N.K. Singh has already given the FRBM related report. Okay, तो वो चीजें important बनती हैं. Finance Commission के factual aspects and Finance Commission के analytical aspects, जैसे कि special category status, population of 2011 being adopted, the census of 2011 being adopted as the census for distribution of financial resources, right? Then since this is the first Finance Commission that is being appointed after the abolition of Planning Commission, how the grants under Article 275 and 282 and 280, ये तीन आर्टिकल्स हैं, 275, 280 and 282, ये सारी चीजें आपको स्टडी करनी है फॉर प्रीलिम्स. देन जो अमेंडमेंट बिल पास करा गया, पेमेंट ऑफ ग्रेच्युटी अमेंडमेंट बिल, और प्रसार भारती, फरवरी और मार्च 2018 में ये इशू था. प्रसार भारती, डू यू थिंक वी नीड अ स्टेट ब्रॉडकास्टर? प्रसार भारती भी कंट्रोवर्सीज में रहता है, गवर्नमेंट भी कंट्रोवर्सीज में रहती है, क्योंकि मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन एंड ब्रॉडकास्टिंग इज accused of interfering or muddling in the affairs of प्रसार भारती. So प्रसार भारती is a government broadcaster, वो सरकार का चैनल है. हमें क्या चाहिए? देश का चैनल जो कि सरकार से autonomous वे में, सरकार से arm's length पे काम करे, बाजू की दूरी बना के. सरकार, government should not be able to interfere in day-to-day administration of news channel. तो ये चीजें important हो जाती है. Then coming to this simultaneous elections idea, even though the question has already been asked, but then it becomes important. Then another sensational issue, that of reservation in promotion. Then SC/ST Prohibition of Atrocities Act 1989. This was also in limelight. तो ये चीजें आपको कवर करनी होंगी. इसके अलावा फाइनेंस कमीशन हो गया, कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया, ये सब चीजें, कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया बिकॉज ऑफ दी फ्लिपकार्ट और ये जो डील हुआ था वॉलमार्ट का, उसके चलते कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया की अप्रूवल इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर बोथ इकोनॉमी एंड पॉलिटी, राइट. Then demand for Gorkhaland was again in news, and live streaming of Supreme Court's proceedings. Live streaming. Do you think that live streaming will help will help in better delivery of justice, or what would be the outcome of live streaming or more transparency in the corridors of judiciary? The e-transparency we are talking about. What we need is other forms of transparency also. E-transparency has got its own limits. Okay, camera laga dene se jo the way in which the cases are allocated will not change. The way in which the cases are, the roster of the Supreme Court is prepared कि कौन से जज कौन सा केस सुनेंगे, वो चेंज नहीं होगा, राइट. तो ये चीजें जुडिशरी को खुद को अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑफ जुडिशरी की तरफ लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग वाला एक अच्छा कदम है. बट देन बैकलॉग ऑफ जुडिशियल अपॉइंटमेंट्स इन सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट्स, how to deal with that. Okay, and the phenomena of special courts for tainted politicians. Do you think that special courts for every issue, special courts for POCSO Act, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, special courts for criminal tainted politicians, special courts for corruption, special courts for 2G scam, where are these special judges? That is a pertinent issue. Okay, do you think that constitution they did a glaring mess by not having the provision of judicial emergency? We are in this state कि हमारे यहाँ पे national emergency है, financial emergency है, but judicial emergency is not there, right? Now इसके बाद electronically transmitted postal ballot system, ये कुछ चीजें आप स्टडी कर सकते हो. And the role of governor in this Karnataka. Okay, the political deadlock, the brief political deadlock that was there. Why judicialization of electoral process is allowed by the governments of the day? Why water disputes are kept on the back burner, or they are kept on the burner till the time the elections are concluded, until the elections get concluded, right? And situation in Jammu and Kashmir, Article 35A, that becomes important for both prelims as well as mains. And then commercial courts, commercial division and commercial appellate division of High Courts Amendment Bill 2018. तो ये जो मैं जो interlinking कर रहा हूँ, this kind of an interlinking is needed from you guys also. And इसी अंदाज में करंट अफेयर्स इश्यूज को हमने सितंबर और अक्टूबर की 2018 की जो करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन है उसमें कवर किया है, राइट. एंड पंजाब ने जो सेडिशन का जो मैटर उठा था, सैक्रिलेज लॉ पंजाब ने पास किया है, वो इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, राइट. एंड मणिपुर पीपल्स प्रोटेक्शन बिल 2018, दिस आल्सो बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट. आधार जजमेंट, एज आई टोल्ड यू, राइट, क्रिमिनलाइजेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स से कैसे डील किया जाए, सेकंड एआरसी का इस पे क्या कहना था, these things become important. और उसके अलावा कुछ और issues भी हैं. Role of governor, do you think that the institution of governor needs to be relooked at? Okay, we need to have a relook at this entire issue, the entire post, Article 200, the role of governor, etc., right? Then coming to the non-performing NGOs which are not performing, okay? And do you think betting should be legalized in India? Betting. And then lateral entry. Central Civil Services Conduct Rules 1964, right? So guys, ये जो questions पूछे जा रहे हैं, ये polity से basic questions नहीं पूछे जा रहे कि this Election Commission of India consists of 5 members. No, what they are asking is blend of both polity and governance. For governance, the best book is the news, okay, the daily newspaper. You have to have a keen eye to look out for, to search for the things in the newspaper. And the questions have been framed in 2017, 18, 16, in the last few years in this manner only. So keep a vigilant eye on the things. Kaveri management scheme और ये जो judgments हमने देखी, सबरीमला judgment, और जो issues हम DNA में cover करते रहते हैं, ये सब issues important हैं. बहुत सारे issues हैं. This is again my personal guess कि ये issues ज़्यादा attention deserve करते हैं from both prelims as well as mains point of view. राइट. और इसके अलावा नेक्स्ट कोई करंट अफेयर्स पे क्लास हम लेंगे 1-2 दिन में ऑन इंपॉर्टेंट स्कीम्स एंड पॉलिसीज. साइमल्टेनियस इलेक्शंस हमने डिस्कस कर लिया. देन एनी अदर इशू, स्पेशल कैटेगरी स्टेटस, एनुअल सर्वे, ये भी हो गया था. सो दिस वाज ऑल. इसके अलावा बताना चाहूंगा जो लोग इकोनॉमी के कोर्स के लिए काफी दिन से रिक्वेस्ट आ रही थी, इकोनॉमी प्लस कोर्स, यू कैन अप्लाई फॉर दैट कोर्स एनरोलमेंट फॉर दैट कोर्स स्टार्टेड येस्टरडे ऑनवर्ड्स, तो वो भी आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो। और करंट अफेयर्स राउंड अप 365 कोर्स जो हमने 2018 में भी किया था, 2019 में भी इश्यू बेस्ड मैनर में उससे डील करने के लिए दोबारा से ये कोर्स है इस बार 2019 के लिए। यू कैन कंसीडर ज्वाइनिंग दैट, ऑलरेडी मेनी ऑफ यू मस्ट बी नोइंग। सो ये एक वे है करंट अफेयर्स से डील करने का। दिस इज हाउ यू आर सपोज्ड टू डील विद द करंट अफेयर्स in an interlinking manner, so that you are able to write on a particular issue. You have got enough points to write on a particular issue. इसके साथ साथ ये पॉलिटी का जो सेक्शन है, इकोनॉमी का जो सेक्शन है, स्कीम्स का जो सेक्शन है, ये सारा कुछ करंट अफेयर्स राउंड अप कोर्स में कवर किया जाएगा। एंड नाउ योर डाउट्स, जिनके भी कुछ डाउट्स हैं, राइट। So these issues, राम मंदिर etc, sensational issues UPSC नहीं पूछती है, राइट। तो why the judicialization? Prasad Kulkarni, this is what you are trying to ask, कि why every issue is dragged to the Supreme Court? Because of the doctrine of checks and balances. किसी ना किसी organization को तो काम करना ही होगा। And then electoral bonds भी important हो जाता है as an issue, electoral bonds का issue, and electoral reform of political parties. Don't you think that this is the most important reform insofar as the the mandate of the government was concerned? Huge mandate that the government had got, and the amendments to this Financial Contribution Regulation Act. Now political parties in India can accept the foreign the grants from the foreign countries. Isn't it wrong? Foreign companies, okay. But then government had given its own justification कि सारी in the light of relaxation of FDI norms, 51% FDI हर एक सेक्टर में अलाउड है। मतलब हर कंपनी में, हर फॉरेन कंपनी में 51%, हर इंडिजिनस कंट्री में, इंडिजिनस कंपनी में फॉरेन कंपनी 51% शेयर्स परचेज कर सकती है। तो कोई कंपनी डोमेस्टिक कंपनी रहेगी ही नहीं, तो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज को फंडिंग कहाँ से मिलेगी? That begs another question, since like every answer is the mother of another question. तो question ये है, why do you think that we need so much of funding in elections? Funding of political parties, another question. So electoral reforms, who is going to bell the cat? Which political party is going to bell itself? This is the the question phrased in a euphemistic manner. Now capitalism ये बाद में. Any other current affairs, any other doubt, guys? राजकुमार, आप क्या पूछना चाह रहे हो? राजकुमार राहुल, yes sir, current affairs. Statues are a part of culture. Yes, they are. But then the statue that you are referring to, that is a part of political culture rather, right? So Maternity Benefit Act वो 2017 में पास हुआ था, इतना important नहीं है, but then prelims के लिए ये सब चीजें important हो जाती हैं, right? Foreign Contribution Regulation Act के बारे में मैंने briefly बता दिया, right? जो इसका PDF है वो Facebook ग्रुप IAS तैयारी with जतिन वर्मा पे शेयर कर दिया जाएगा, okay? Why political parties don't pay income tax? Because they do a lot of good work by connecting like-minded people, right? So they don't need to pay income tax, okay? So that was all. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I don't think you guys are having many doubts here. I will, Ankita Jindal, I will create a separate video dedicated to this RITS thing. Okay. So thank you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.